I hope we are live. I look like I'm live. It looks like I'm getting readings on audio now. Oh my gosh, what a mess. Oh, turn on the TV. I'm talking to myself. Oh, it's in the living room. I'm leaving the mic on. Oh boy. Well, what a day so far. I started 9 o'clock, a full half hour of comedy. And the only one who could hear it was me. Unless you were watching with the closed captions. Because the captions worked. The whole hilarity is there in captions. Gordon has to log off Twitch before 10 to attend this class. I feel sorry for you, but I'm glad you told me that because we do have a report from the field from Commissioner Gordon about Jack White. So we're going to do that right away. As I try to recondense all of my comedy that I did in 15 minutes. And our Discord server, which I talked about before, discord.gg/BOLAS, fantastic. We now have a ticketing system and scriptly captioned everything I said there. So I will tell you about all of that and more about what happened with our technical difficulties. But first we'll talk about Gordon because he has to go. So Gordon, I now call him Commissioner Gordon, and yes, Gordon, I'm sorry, you can't pick your street name. So you're now always in my heart, Commissioner Gordon, which is better than Golan Davidescu. Gordon says that I was very excited to get a response on Twitter from Sabet. You got to send that link, Mr. Gordon, because that I want to see. So yesterday I was having eye problems, and my good friend Gordon, who we lovingly refer to as Commissioner Gordon from Batman, he's the good guy, kept checking up so I could see if I was doing well, and I was doing all right. And then he sent me this wonderful, interesting piece of email for discussion on the show today. And we would have discussed it in detail by now, but we had technical difficulties, which are very funny, but I'll explain them later. So Gordon sent me this about Jack White, and we talked about Jack White yesterday. Quite a lot. Gordon tells me that I don't like Jack White, and I don't have a memory of not publicly liking him. I don't, because he did that guitar movie about the history of the guitar, which I thought was very interesting. I like him in the Rock on Tours. White Stripes, he has a couple of interesting songs. It's a weird relationship with his drummer, who was his wife, and he took her name, and people think they're brother and sister. So Gordon sent me this reminder: the Jack White Show here at Ascend Amphitheater on April 30 and May 1 are phone-free shows. Now right there, that raises red flags and white flags of alarm. What is a phone-free show? Oh, no phones allowed in the performance space. An unplugged real-life experience. How does it work? So this is how it works, and that's Jack looking very good, very debonair. He is into blue. I am too. And by the way, the reason I'm weird is because the lights didn't work when I did my upgrade of Windows, so I go like this, I'm green. I go like this, my face is red. I have to fix it. Big comedy routine at the start of the show, but I didn't have... the audio wasn't working. So you put your phone, you go to the show and you put your phone in this case, right? And then it gets locked. And then you can, I believe you get to hold on to your phone, but then you can unlock it later. And the whole idea is that they don't want you recording the show. They want you watching the show like they did in the 1960s and 70s when we didn't have portable phones. And now this is Mr. Gordon, Commissioner Gordon, speaking. This is not the advertisement. I'm not sure when you last attended a concert. I think it was 1973. The Osmonds at the Nebraska State Fair. They were very good, got rained out, sort of had a tornado, and the whole kind of tent they were on collapsed, and they stopped the show early. But in the 15 years since the iPhone came out, it's increasingly turned into over half the crowd holding up their phones and pointing it towards the stage as if they're going to make a perfect video recording of the set, which is true, and you see that on YouTube all the time, people self-recording concerts, which is a violation. Does YouTube demonetize them? I don't know. Meanwhile, another quarter of the audience, I'm not paying attention. See, I miss half a day because I can't see, and now you can't see this because I had to restart. I'm reading Gordon's email and it's not there. Now it's there. Yay! So this is what it looks like where you put your phone in this thing. And then Gordon comments, wait. Meanwhile, another quarter of the audience is tweeting about the show, posting photos to Instagram, posting Facebook, sometimes just texting friends about what they're doing or playing games on the phone, while entirely missing the experience of being there, being present in the room. This notion of basically making attendees have their phones in a locked case that cannot be used until the concert is over, of course. If there is an urgent need to use one's phone, one may do so in an area of the venue designated for that. Gordon likes the idea. I think it's interesting, but in some ways dismaying. And 10 years ago, I would have said absolutely, turn all phones off and put them away. But the world has changed. People now expect to be able to use their phones wherever they want. It used to be the thing with kids, especially, let's say, children, and more particularly, in this case, female children. When do you get to wear makeup? And when I was growing up in the Midwest, it was always 16. Your 16th birthday, you can wear mascara and lipstick. Before then, no, because it sexualizes you. And over the years, I didn't care because I was a guy and we didn't do that, but it was a big thing for young women. And sometimes they would leave the house and go to school and put makeup on in the bathroom and wear it. And then when they go home, on the way home, they would wipe it all off their face. And then as times changed and things evolved, the young women would start wearing makeup earlier and earlier and earlier. And they would sometimes be in conflict with their parents, especially if they were strictly religious. But it came down. Now it's, 12, 13, whatever, 10, you can wear makeup. And then that issue has kind of gone by the wayside because nobody really cares anymore unless it's, part of your belief system. And it's turned into phones. And I remember when I got my very first Motorola StarTAC phone. We were living in Alphabet City in New York, maybe 91, 92, 93. And it was very expensive. The phones were very expensive. That time you had to go through MCSI, which was the Motorola cellular network, if you wanted a Motorola phone, and everybody did because they were the best phones at that time. So there was a certain barrier to getting into the phone system. And then once you got the phone, you were so excited, then you couldn't afford to make a call because it was too expensive, because you paid for every minute of airtime that you were on. And then the cost came down and things changed. And then as they became more ubiquitous, these cell phones, and started adding cameras and texting, the first phone I had was just a phone. That's all it did. And they became part of education and part of people's lives. And the new question became, what age do you give your children a cell phone? And I can remember there said that you can't have a cell phone until you're 13. Because what are you going to do? You're 6, 7 years old. What are you going to do with a cell phone? Who are you calling? Who are you texting? There's no cell phone for you. Just like the makeup. You're too young. And now, it's a safety issue. Oh, well, I want to know where my kid is. I want to track it via the phone. I want my my daughter to always be in contact with me wherever I am. So it becomes a part of your life that is approved by your parents and expected by society. And social media has now made this into sort of, if you're of a certain age, a requirement to participate, to show that you're important, to take your picture, to get a selfie with a famous person. There is an account I follow on Twitter, and all it deals with is takes a picture of every licensed place that a person gets to film in New York City every day. And it's really dominated by Law and Order. And Mariska Haggerty, who is the star and executive producer of the show, is often in these shots. And people go and take pictures of her behind. She's sitting in her chair. They take a picture of her. And then they get up the guts 2 or 3 images later to go and take a selfie with her. And she is very generous. She will take a selfie with anybody. And she smiles and she's very beautiful. And that is a lot of work. You're there working, trying to act on the streets of New York, and people come up and, will you take a picture with me? Big thing. Just like it used to be, will you give me your autograph? And I never understood why people wanted the autograph of someone famous. When I was on television, local television in Lincoln, Nebraska, sometimes kids would come up to me and say, could I have your autograph? And I'd say, why? So I would say, I don't know why you want my autograph, but here it is. Give it to them. And they were so excited. I didn't understand it. Many, many years later, I learned that Steve Martin had business cards printed up that said, you met Steve Martin. And when people would ask him for his autograph, he would say, this is what you really want. And he would give them a business card saying, you met Steve Martin. Which I thought was kind of mean and kind of snotty, because people don't want a business card. They want the interaction. They want to say hello. They want to write his name for them. So, years later after that, I was working on Broadway with Peter Stone as his associate. He said, you're more than an assistant. And I said, okay. And he did a whole thing for People magazine. And he was a writer, Academy Award winner, Tony winner, strictly personality, but very successful, came from a showbiz family. His mother was a very famous screenwriter, Mary Stone. And part of his little segment for People magazine, when it was a thing on TV, was, why do people want autographs? And he kind of figured out and shared with me and taught me that they want that personal connection. They want to say, I had this interaction with this famous person, and here's my proof. Not a business card from Steve Martin, but a signature. That's what it means to them. So he said, never deny a person an autograph, because it's important to them. And maybe you don't understand it, and maybe you don't want to do it because it's dumb, but do it anyway. Which now brings us around to the circle of Jack White forbidding phones at his concerts. And maybe if you're a big Jack fan, hey, Gordon says, well, I had an interaction with a famous person. Here's the proof. There you go. The reply becomes the interaction. So I'm going to click on that in a moment. And I know Gordon has to go soon. But I am concerned, and maybe if you're a big Jack White fan, you don't care. Put away your phone. But for people who are going to the concert because they want to see Jack White, they want proof that they were there. They want to take a selfie with Jack in the background. They want to video it. They want to remember it. It's part of now the current process of interacting in a human life. So to take that away from people by saying we're going back to the 70s and 80s where you just stood there and watched and appreciated it, for people who don't understand what that means, it's going to be confusing and perhaps hostile. Here's the report from Commissioner Gordon in the field. Gordon says, replying to Sabet. This is very interesting. And a reply is very smart. Dolly often included his wife in his art. Is this someone of great importance to you? Oh, here we go. This is the original. Sabet. Resonance frequency 2022, Sabet NFT. Soon. Limited drop. Soon. DM me. direct message on Twitter if you want to be on the notification list. And I say, if you want information from Sabet and to talk to him, you can reply, as Gordon did, or send him a DM. He's very responsive. He's smart. He knows that you're important to him. And there's the woman that he does often draw. And Gordon asks him a wonderful question. And Sabet says, let's see, we have to favorite this. And we need to retweet this. And Sabet says, some of them pick up on my wife's energy. Very interesting. I don't recall him ever talking about his wife. He's mentioned his kids vaguely a couple of times, but never his wife. I don't think I've seen a photograph of her. Some of them pick up on my wife's energy. I often paint people and situations before I meet them. Now that I find even more curious. What does that mean? So you've never met Jack White. You're going to go to his show, give up your phone, but draw and paint him before the concert. Now that's weird. I often paint people in situations before I meet them. What does that mean? That's curious. Now I want to reply and ask him what he means, but it's not my thread. Gordon will take care of it, maybe, and maybe not. It's Gordon's decision, it's Gordon's thread. But I'm so glad that Sabet replied. That's wonderful. And it was a very, very interesting question. Commissioner Gordon says, it's like the energy they put out in the universe. It somehow reaches him. That is very true. He is very big on energy and healing codes. That is Gordon's speculation. Well, this is one thing that Sabet does that I find slightly odd. He has these healing codes that you can purchase, and they are not selling. And I've done it again. Here we go. This is what we've been talking about. Sabet with the beautiful photograph. Oh, and Gordon replying, asking, and his wife's energy. There we go. Okay. And then Sabet has these healing code things, which I find slightly creepy. And they're not doing well. I do have one. He's only sold 993 out of almost 5,000. For Sabet, big flop, big failure. He says it's not. He's going to keep going. Most people, when it reaches this, after I think it's been like a month or two, would burn the rest. So you'd keep 1,000, you burn the other 4,000, and the people who purchased early, the floor then rises, and they're not mad at you anymore. But you can see he's selling these for 0.088 F, which for him is very cheap. And they're all supposed to be sort of unique in their own way. Some are 1 of 1s, some are 1 of 51s. And I guess you're supposed to get this, and then you go into his Discord server and you ask for healing activation, which means, I guess, that Sabet will then reply to you and say, I have activated the healing in your healing code. And they want it to be more than this, where they do workshops with energy and chakra and people, and mental health. To me, it's just a little bit too much. Because it has a little bit of undertones of cultishness around it. That you have to go to Sabet for your healing, and it's a healing code. Which just seems a little odd to me, if you want to be an artist, and not a leader of some kind of cult. But it's hard to argue with it when he says, oh, I'm just about healing and about making people whole. Okay. But it's weird that you have to activate their healing as the creator and the artist. So it's interesting. So Jack White obviously knows maybe not what he's doing all the time, but he knows what he wants, which is very admirable for an artist. He usually doesn't get surprised. And it'll be curious to see how people react. When they go there and they say, hey, put your phone in this case because you're not taking a picture. You're not making a phone call. You're not going to record this. You're just going to stand there and enjoy it. It says confusing anti-vape ad. My kids saw this and legit were wondering if the ads were encouraging vaping or not. Is this something that you're seeing on this stream or somewhere else? I've never really understood vaping. Now, from a personal point of view, would I prefer people smoke a cigarette or a marijuana joint? Or vape? I would prefer they vape, because it's just vapor. But if I care about their health, I would prefer that they did not vape, because vaping takes oils and deposits in your lungs, and it's very, very, very nasty stuff. And sometimes it takes a long time for it to come out and start affecting people. So, people vape. And they look sort of ridiculous doing it. Watching people on TV vape and they have their hand like this. Very strange. Because I guess they're kind of like either oblong or square shaped, so they have to hold it like this instead of like a cigarette. I don't know. Gordon says, I once was waiting for a train and I suddenly smelled donuts. There were no donuts. Just one dumb nut vaping a few feet away. And that's very interesting. They have a lot of what some people call kid flavors, like bubble gum. And they're saying, what adult would want bubble gum for a vape? And the truth is, they're trying to sell to kids. And I don't think high school kids, maybe, are looking to do bubble gum. I think they want younger and younger kids. Get them hooked early. It's a little bit sad, sort of. But I love it that Sabet replied to Gordon. That's very interesting. And now it's 10 o'clock. And Gordon is signing off. For now, class in session. Everything is grudgingly saying good morning. Laughing out loud. We should go there and ask everyone for an autograph and see what happens. I bet they'd be very impressed and thrilled. Until tomorrow, Commissioner Gordon signing off. We'll see you soon. Take care and be well. And now I'm going to take my break. Back in a minute. And we're back from break. Oh, the hair's all out of order. Everything's out of order today. So now I can go back and share with you my comedy stylings of the first half of the show that did not get recorded with audio for some reason. So what happened yesterday is I went to the eye doctor, couldn't see anything, right? Came back, couldn't see anything all afternoon, and I came back, and I couldn't see, so I couldn't really do any writing or anything that was terribly interesting. So I made the decision to update my computer. And the laptop. Okay. So I did. Came back, turned everything back on. It all seemed to be working just fine. And then we start the show today, and my lights would not turn on. I have two lights here. I have a key light down here. I have another key light back there behind the guitars. I have the blue strip light back there. And the lights wouldn't turn on. Now, the only way for these big key lights, and they're all Elgato, they're all in the same system, as they say, is to press a button and hold it so the light resets. And the problem is when the light resets, it doesn't have any of your specific settings that you set up. So it defaults to sort of a greenish-bluish color, and not quite as bright as it should be. And this is what you get. Not this. This. Ah, see? My pasty white hands and arms are reflecting more of the Elgato lights, making my arms green. Now when I put my hands down, now I'm sort of yellowish and orangish. A little bit ugly. That's not a bad color for my face. Let's talk about the face. Okay. Doesn't look good. So I have to try to fix that today, but I couldn't fix it today because it takes a long time, because you got to reset the light. You have to connect it to your Wi-Fi, then you have to connect it to the software, and then you have to, and it just takes forever. And it doesn't always work. So you have to reset and restart and reset and restart. Oh, it's a big mess. And it's all on my, I pressed my Stream Deck to turn on my lights, and they didn't turn on. So then, because I was under a little bit of strain, a little bit of pressure, started the stream. Closed captions are working. I can see they're here. The Discord is working. I can see it there. Happiness everywhere. However, for some reason, I guess, when we did the Windows update, it stripped all of my audio from my live stream. I can hear myself. I can hear my music. I can see the closed captioning working. And then our friend, Commissioner Gordon, said, I can't hear you. I think something's wrong with my sound. Now, I've heard that before from people other than Commissioner Gordon. And I thought, oh, no. And then I smartened up and looked. Oh, no. No music, no mic coming into the stream. And the way you solve it is you go into Streamlabs or your OBS software and you delete all of your audio. And then you go back and re-add all of your audio. And then it seemed to work. But then our bot, the Boles bot, got disconnected from the Streamlabs bot. And the thigh bone is connected to the leg bone, and the leg bone's connected, and it's a big mess. So I turned off the CloudBot. I turned on the CloudBot now, and I'm going to test the CloudBot to see if it says the message is from Streamlabs or if the message is from yours truly, Mr. Bolesbot, which is associated and connected to the Streamlabs bot. That is the question of the day. So I'll try it. And if we're playing roulette, I'm putting all my money on it's going to say Streamlabs bot. So, an exclamation command will go for JANNA. See, it says Streamlabs. It does not say Bolesbot. That's all messed up. It looks awful. I don't know how I'm going to fix it, but I'm going to have to try to fix it somehow. Disappointing. Now, Discord. Join a Discord server. Now, as I said in the first part of the show that you couldn't hear, we have a new ticketing system where you can go there, and if you're having a problem or you need to get access to something, you don't know how to fix it, who to speak to, go in there, scroll all the way to the bottom of our Discord server, discord.gg/Boles, Boles, and send me a ticket. It opens a ticket, and I get notified, and I can solve your problem. It's very slick. It's very smooth. It's going to be a big challenge to Elon and his Twitter friends, which we're going to talk about, but maybe not today. We'll save that for tomorrow because today has been very hectic. And when I came back after doing the show for 30 minutes with no sound and came back and restarted, I said to myself, now this is too much. I've worn myself out for the day after yesterday's eye exam. But it's been interesting so far. So now, just because we're going to play a little chess. Oh no, you say, oh yes, say I. Because we haven't done that for a while. And I haven't had this for a while, and it's back now. This is my Not Bobby Fischer intro with yours truly, David Boles, who is not Bobby Fischer. And so that plays, and then I go right into my delicious browser where I try to figure out what to do and how to win a game in which I'm not very good at winning anyway. But that's never stopped us before, right? We just keep trying and trying until we win the game. Or solve the puzzle. So here we go. It's time to solve. 2 moves. Now, the 2 moves sounds, oh, that's easy. 2 moves in and out. That's true, but you have to be very smart about it, and because these are timed puzzles. Oh, the hair's just out of whack today, isn't it? It's one of those days. It's what you get. Going to the eye doctor, come back, here you are. A lot of trouble. Big trouble. Big trouble. But we're not complaining. Not too much. So we know they want a queen sacrifice. So 99% of the time, the first move is going to be to get rid of your queen. Then they move. Then you make the final move to fix it. To win the puzzle, as they say, in 2 moves. Now, sometimes these puzzles are what I call biased, where the last move is not really a checkmate. It's more like you'll have checkmate in the next move if you make it right. So it's a little sneaky when you get into these 2-move puzzles. But we are playing white, and I have to make this slightly bigger because I just can't see it. Okay, so here we go. White to play. I'm white. There I am. That is my move, I'm sure, and I'm protected by my knight. So what will happen? This I do not know. Ah, I'll be taken here. And then what? This I cannot say. So I better make the move. And I'm going I would I'm going to make the move. Okay, we knew that was going to happen, right? Now, I believe the move is this, to here, which then puts the king in check, and the king cannot move here, or here, or here, because of our rook going this way. So I believe this is a puzzle that I have successfully solved, which I know sounds shocking and disappointing, because the fun of this is how terrible I am, because I am not Bobby Fischer. I will do. And I won the game. Thank you. I wish I had some applause. I wonder if are my sounds working? Yes. Yes, my sounds are indeed working. Do I have other sounds? I thought I had other sounds. Voice mod, I don't want that. Where's my cheering? There's my cheering. Thank you very much. I did a good job today. Not as horrible as you would think. Now, you're probably not even hearing those sounds because it's not hooked up. I got to work on that too. So, I got that one right. Do I dare try yet another one? Okay, I will do. White to play. Here is my queen. I know they want her sacrificed, so how? How and where? Probably there. Pawn will take, right? Mm-hmm. And then knight will take for the king and jack. Yeah. And then, yeah. And then we have the laser of the bishop stopping everything. So there you go. I believe that's the move. Get rid of your queen, which I hate doing. But that's the puzzle. And now I go here, and that's going to be all she wrote, I do dare say, and I do so declare. Because then you go there, and the king's done. And the king cannot move here. And the king cannot move there because, boink, the laser bishop, as they say in the game. I will do. Boom. I win. Woohoo! 100% 2 times in a row. I know there are only 2 moves, but I've failed miserably on 2 moves before. I have one more. I'll do it again. I will try. So, we know this is a queen sacrifice, and there's my queen. And where's the king? The king is there. So it's probably going to be something like this. Right? And then this. Then they'll take my queen. And then what are you going to do, laddie? I would move there, put the king in check, and then what's going to happen? Then I'm running out of space. This one's getting harder. But I know it's a queen sacrifice. It's always going to be that. Yeah, okay. So boom and boom. Now, they could have just tried to move the king out of the way, but it didn't work. So let's see now. Okay, I'm running out of time. I had a plan, and I've lost the plan. I've lost the plot. How dare you? Ah, this is what it was. Bishop here, takes the knight, slam. King can't go here or here because of bishops. And the king cannot move backward because of rook and z. Well, I'm going to win this one as well. It's been a good day. It started off rough. 30 minutes with no sound, and now it's the sound of victory. Victory! Thank you very much. 3 puzzles in a row. 100% for each puzzle. That's called quitting while you're ahead. And I'm no quitter. but I know when to stop. So let's see, what is our puzzle for the day? The last puzzle we played was on the 27th of April, which was a long, long time ago. Here. Alignment signals. I don't know what that means. Alignment signals. Okay, now this is not timed, so I can just waste as much time as I need. White to move. Okay, so this is a Wednesday puzzle. Middle of the week means not too hard, not too soft. I'm not going to make the joke. The office joke. Okay, so alignment. That means diagonals to me. So this is my queen. She could go here. But that doesn't do anything. That's just dumb. A knight. That doesn't do anything either. That doesn't do anything. Well, this is getting very sticky. This is not as fun as the Chessable puzzle. This one's actually hard. That's no good. What if we went all the way down? Get a check in there. We like checking. And then the king moves. Oh, now we're getting maybe more interesting. Maybe not. Maybe so. Because if I move this somehow, somewhere out of the way, then I have a shot. King, if the king takes. It could be interesting. I will try. Oh my goodness, it was the right move. Now this is lovely because there's no rush. I can take as long as I need to try to figure this out. So I know this is a knight move. Working on my knight moves, by the way. That puts the king in check, and it's also a discovered check, which is very interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting, actually, because then I could take... it forks the queen. And it forks the king. Oh, that's a very good move. I'm sure that's the move, but I got to think about it, because I don't want to mess this up. Because I'm very, very bad at this. I'm great offline, but on live stream, many sad things happen. And they're not all good. Especially when my lighting's off. When the lighting's like this, I look so old. Green. Orange. Yeah. I'm stalling for time, by the way. Okay, I think that's the move to make. Move the knight. So this is the move. Move the knight here. Boom. King's in check. Boom. The queen is angling on him. Boom. Okay. King moves. Take the queen. It's going to be great. I will do. Holla. So now, I got to take the queen. I think. Who knows? It's a puzzle. They like to trick you. Yeah, it's got to be. That's the move. I will take. Oh, and it's over. Woo. Wow. Terrific. It was, what can I say? It was delightful. And so, my friends, it has been an hour and a half of live show. An hour and 45 minutes of live show, only of which 1 hour made it to the actual air. So that means that I'm going to save all of my prep that I did for today because I've run out of time. And I don't like the lighting, and I don't want this to be part of history because it doesn't look good. I gotta fix it. And I need to fix my bot. I have so many things that have to be fixed today. I will fix. So if you have any questions or comments, I invite you to write to me, david@boles.tv. BOLES.T&V. You can find me on Twitter. Super follow available. And we're going to talk a lot about Twitter today, but we'll save that for tomorrow because it's ever expanding and cascading. @David Boles, Twitter. On Facebook, we're just BOLES, regular Boles. On Instagram, we are Boles Books. On Discord, we are boles.gg/BOLES, creating a whole new community there. And on TikTok, we are Boles TV, and our video on demand on YouTube is BOLES.LIVE. So until tomorrow, I wish you a happy day, a great evening, a wonderful nap, and when ye shall awaken, I hope your soul is filled with joy and belonging. I'll see you tomorrow.